Good morning, Kale. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Good morning. I am standing up. Yeah, I made a video yesterday with the desk standing, and then I forgot to put everything back down. So we're gonna stand until I get sick of it, and then I'm sure at some point I'll get lazy and want to sit down again. I just didn't want to take. I didn't want to take the time to move everything. Okay, we're back to the Pokedex. Back to the Pokedex. I'm half happy today. Work computer bricked it because I don't have the BitLocker key. I'm gonna need to explain that. No. I'm sure it's happened before, you know? Sure it's happened to lots of people. Oh no, now that's even worse, dude. So are you guys gonna have to replace it? Or were you able to fix the drivers? Yeah, I just gotta wipe someone's computer because the tech before didn't back it up. Nice. You spent 3 hours in the terminal? Okay, well, good. I'm glad you got it fixed. I'm glad you guys were able to save it. That would have been no bueno. Let's see. We need a Ubuntu terminal. Oh, wonderful! Windows failing during an update? No way. Oh, what a pain, dude. What a pain. The worst Windows update experience I've had so far has been this computer that I'm streaming on got stuck in like a boot loop where it would just constantly keep turning off, turning back on. And it would just keep doing that. It was terrible. Good morning, Wagafa. How are you? Nice to see you this fine morning. What are you doing? Just hanging out? Enjoying life?
That's what happened. That's what just happened.
That's the worst. The absolute worst. Yeah. That's the worst Windows update experience I had. And I mean, to be fair to Windows, maybe it was something I did, but it was painful. It was no fun. All right. I forget where we left off with this thing. Okay, we're gonna start talking to a Poke API. Sorry for the double up. I was unsure if it was broken again. No, you're fine, man. Use it as much as you want. Like I said, I got tokens I gotta use, so might as well use them on something fun. About to start some programming exercises to learn some Perl. Nice, nice. I'm gonna start some programming exercises to build a Pokedex, so we can learn together. All right, what do we need to do? Add the map command. It displays the names of 20 location areas in the Pokemon world. Each subsequent call to map should display the next 20 locations and so on. This will be how we explore the Pokemon world. Oh, we should probably start a timer too, so I know when I can take a break. Here are some pointers for implementing this command. You'll need the Poke API location area endpoint to get the location areas. Note this is a different endpoint than the location endpoint. Calling the endpoint without an ID will turn a batch of location areas. Update all commands to now accept a pointer to a config struct as a parameter. Ah, we already have half that work done. Because we made a context object. This struct will contain the next and previous URLs that you'll need to page through location areas. Here's an example of how to make a GET request in Go. Here's how to unmarshal a slice of bytes into a Go struct. Very cool. Add the mapbat command. It's similar to the map command. However, instead of displaying the next 20 locations, it displays the previous 20 locations. It's a way to go back. If you're on the first page of results, this command should just print you're on the first page. Okay. Okay. We can do this. Let's go to the Poke API. I don't think I've ever used this before. Let's see. Oh, they have a V2. Are we on V2? Yeah, we should probably use V2. Let's see, locations. Location areas, that's the one we want. I think, well, both these show that you have to provide an ID or a name. Hey, what's up? X1Zol, YouTube still did not say you were live, only in your Discord server it showed me. Huh. That's so weird. Maybe you have to... I know on YouTube there's like a bell icon after you subscribe to somebody. Maybe you have to like... Because I think by default, when you subscribe, your notifications are set to personalized, which I'm not really sure what that means. Oh, you've already done that. Huh. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll have a big enough stream where I can have a YouTube representative and I can take this up with somebody. But for right now, nobody at YouTube gives a shit about me. Oh, what are you stuck with? I'm sure somebody here can maybe help, hopefully. Yeah, go for it, man. I'm sure someone in chat could help too. There's a lot of smart fellas and ladies that hang out my chat, so for sure. I'll get a job at YouTube for you. That would be wonderful, Kale. I would love to know somebody in YouTube, sysad, IT. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, let's see what happens when we call this with no ID. That gives us back our locations. So this is what we need to... Also, why wouldn't you pretty print this? Pretty print, please. Hello, Victor. Good morning. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right, let's go make a package. I just managed to update a 1060 successfully with new drivers. Why can't Windows? I don't know, man. I don't know. There's like I constantly feel like I'm kind of like the defender of Windows, but then again, at the same time, you know, it's like I don't know. You know, it's just there is a lot of smart people who work at Microsoft. I just don't think the Windows side of their business gets much time or attention or love. You know, I just happiest day of my life. Gonna buy a tablet today. Let's fucking go. Yeah, dude, that sounds fun. Do you know what you're gonna get? Let's see. So for me, this code, it says it's wrong and it does not pick up. Okay, so you got doc type, HTML. You've got the HTML tag with your lang. You got a head tag. Yeah, so to me it looks like you're missing a bunch of stuff, X1 Zool. I guess to me this is what see if I can test.html. So I guess X1 Zool, this is what, yeah, but on Free Codecamp it says to do that first. Yeah, so this is what I would typically look for at the beginning of an HTML page. These would be your like classic. I mean, maybe link isn't here. I don't know. Maybe you don't have styles, but you definitely have a title, set the viewport. Your meta characters are declared. To me, it looks like you're missing. Oh, you can't see it? Huh. I wonder if it's because it had HTML tags and stuff in it. But yeah, it looks like you've got some strange formatting or incorrect formatting in there. I would go through and make sure every opening tag has a closing tag. Every attribute value has an opening and closing string. Nope, it was stream chat frozen. Just refreshed. Huh. That's weird. Super weird. You're going to buy a Motorola Pad 60 Pro or a Lenovo IdeaPad Pro. Both are the same ones, only branding is different. Very cool, man. I've never heard of those, but I'm not deep in the tablet game. I've had the same busted iPad for like 10 years now. Let me see. Hold on. Sorry, I my bad. I deleted the HTML file. HTML5. So you're saying for the meta? Yes, the meta does not need a closing tag. In HTML, there are weird tags that are either self-closing or do not need a closing tag. Link is the same way. See you, Victor. Have fun getting your tablet, man. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, X1. I would also do what Kale suggested. The Discord would be a great place to share too. If you go to the coding channel, I'm sure there are some ravenous people in there ready to help you with an issue, for sure. I'm happy to help, but I don't want to read HTML sideways like that. That's totally fair. I don't think HTML was written or designed to be read like that. But even Claude said that it was to put this. Well, maybe Claude. Let's go. I always, when it comes to web stuff, I go straight to the source. Let's see. Let's go to MDN meta tag. MDM docs is the GOAT. So it looks like here the meta tag is self-closing, so it should have a /. Why that HTML snippet over here doesn't have one, I do not know. Let's see. If I had to guess, the browser probably fixes it up. Yeah, I don't know. That's a very astute observation. I'm not sure why this snippet doesn't have it. But according to NDM docs, it is self-closing. So you need a /, what is that, less than, greater than sign there? And you should be good to go. MDN stands for Mozilla Developer Network. It's just a really great documentation site for everything web related. CSS, HTML, JavaScript, every API that's in the browser. It's even got information on each browser's support for said feature, which is great. So if you're wondering if you can use it, there's also a good website if you're getting into web development called Can I Use, which is pretty good. You can go here and you can type, you know, some browser API and check to see if it's supported. Like I think you can do intersection. It's pretty nice. This is different than MDM, but good helpful resource if you're ever building a website. Like in the free CodeCamp lesson, build a travel agency. It says that in there. You mean it says to use a self-closing tag? Yeah, then it's right. I mean, it's right. That's what MDM says. It says it's self-closing. But if I had to guess, if you don't put the self-closing, the /, I'm guessing the browser probably fixes it up when it parses the page. Yeah, Mozilla Developer Network. Let's see, we want type client, it's a struct. And then we're gonna have some things that hang off the struct. We're also gonna have a function called new client that returns us a pointer to a client object. So we're gonna need an HTTP client, which I'm not really sure. Yeah, for sure, man. We can work alongside each other. You do free CodeCamp and I'll do boot.dev. That sounds like a wonderful, wonderful plan. Okay, so we are gonna have client, or I guess I should do that. I should do HTTP. It's gonna have a pointer to HTTP dot client. Don't know where that came from. I see now what I did wrong. I did caps lock UTF. It has to be saying UTF. Well, there you go. See, it's always the silly, simple things. If you stick with it long enough, it eventually makes itself obvious, right? Sometimes those are the points in time where I feel like I just need to just take a step away. You know what I mean? Just take a break, get a drink of water, and then before you know it, the problem becomes obvious to me. Where are we? Here. So the base URL is going to be API v2. Nice. I can't find why this Windows update disappeared. Who knows why Windows Update does what it does? That was too funny. Like always, it is. It's always the little things, man. Always the little things. Devil's in the details. I think I'm going to move the boot.dev for lesson off to my other monitor so I don't have to keep. All right. So let's add, because we have our client. We don't have any methods for it yet, but let's go ahead and add a command. So we want a, what are we going to call it? We want a map command. Var map command equals CLI command. CLI command. The name is going to be map. Description. Displays what? Displays the names of 20 location areas. And then we'll need a callback. And this will say what? This will say, this will not be that. That will be a map command map. Yep. Yeah, Linter would be good. He's probably in the browser, though. I think in those lessons, I think at that point in Free Code Camp, those lessons still, they haven't had you set up a local dev environment yet. But yes, what Kale said, X1Zula, is whenever you get out of the browser, you'll be able to use an IDE that will help point out that stuff. A linter is basically just something you can run over your code to report errors or issues that are existing while you're actually editing your code. There's a couple different things. There's linters, there's formatters, and there's language server protocol. Each one can kind of provide you different information. Some languages have them all kind of bundled for you. Others you have to sort of piecemeal and install and configure. Do you have a link for that? Sure. Let's see. You're using HTML and JavaScript. So more than likely you'd want to use, for HTML, you'd probably use the VS Code LSP, depending on what IDE you use. But if you start with VS Code, you'd probably rely on their language service. There you go. ESLint. I don't think I've ever done that though. So that would be a new adventure for me, getting that to work in the browser. Okay, so ideally what we'd have here is we have this. We have, ideally, we have locations and we have air. And this returns from c.client dot locations dot get Ugh. Let's see. So it looks like the only thing I need to keep track of is the offset. So I guess the question is, how do I... Okay, so we'll do locations get, and then we'll pass in dot next offset, like that. And then we check to see if there's an error. And we'll want to do something different there. Doesn't really say what to do if there's an error. What do we want to do if there's an error? I think if there's an error, we'll return it. And then we will print something to indicate that. So we'll say something like print line unable to get locations. Something like that. Otherwise, we just need to loop over locations. And we'll do c.client. No. Location. Range over locations. And then we just have to print their names. So this would be fmt.printf, and we would just say %s, and we pass it location dot name, which we don't have yet. Okay, this doesn't have a client, so let's type that. Let's go up here and say we're going to take a client. This is going to be a PokeAPI.client. That's why that needs to be public. Go ahead and make this client. And we're also going to want a next offset, which will just be an int. And then we're also going to want a previous offset, which is going to be an int. Let's see. Yep, that'll work. And then we obviously need to new those up as part of our context. So let's go down here to our context and let's say, where is the new context happening? Here we go. So in addition to newing up commands, we'll also new up a client. So we'll do PokeAPI.newClient. And then we'll do previous offset is 0. Next offset is 0. I think that was the only things we added. Yep. It's good. Further, I've gone in browser/DOM was the VS Code server. Yeah, so that's where I would probably just, once you get through these lessons, X1Zool, FreeCodeCamp will walk you through how to set up a local dev environment. I believe it's with VS Code, and then you'll have a lot more functionality that'll help you catch and help you identify small mistakes like that, either syntax mistakes or, you know, you've left something off, you know, and then you can even configure some of these tools, right, for your own personal style or flavor. But don't get too far ahead of yourself, right? There's so much to learn. There's so many things you can do, right? But just for now, focus on what Free Code Camp's teaching you, and you'll be golden. You'll be golden. You can't boil the ocean, you know? Oh, it's break time. Man, that 25 minutes went by fast. Snap, crackle, pop. I'm getting old. All right. Standing desk thing is weird. Oh, for sure. For sure, dude. I know that feeling so well. That's the feeling that largely I feel like AI robs me of. Because it gets to have all the aha moments for me. Okay, I don't know if this is a good idea. I'm like standing in my, like kneeling in my chair here. Good morning, Maddie. Nice to see you. Okay. Now we need to model the request. So we're going to have a type called locations endpoint, which is a struct. And that struct is going to have what? Something. It will definitely have a function with receiver type locations endpoint. And this will be a GET request. And it needs an offset. So we'll say offset. And then it's going to return a slice of locations. Now, locations doesn't exist yet either. So let's go ahead and add that. Also, it should be location like this. So just go ahead and return an empty one. Actually, we'll do this. Locations. We'll say var locations is equal to this.
Did we just become best friends?
Hey, thanks for the follow. How do you even say that word? Fermius Piglet? Huh. Interesting username. Thanks for the follow, though. We appreciate the follows on Twitch. It's pretty quiet over there most days. How are y'all doing on Twitch? How y'all be? Oh, you're talking to Twitch people. Sorry. I have a habit of just reading chat. This needs a name, which is a string. A URL, which is a string. And how do you do the JSON part? Forgot. I forgot how to do that part. Currently around 1:30 p.m. at my end, having to eat something soonish. That sounds good. Yeah, it's 6:30 a.m. over here, so we're just getting started for the day. But glad to hear you're doing well. Struct field URL has JSON tag, but is not exported. Unexported struct field cannot have non-ignored JSON URL tag. Okay. And this guy's going to have a client. I saw on Discord a meme post that they try to kill AI stuff, but it is also a real thing. Looked it up. So it is a fight at this point. Huh. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but yes. AI, the very contentious topic currently swallowing up the developer landscape. This is for sure a thing. Okay, I'm going to use some generics here. So I'm going to make a type called page, and page will have a T. Do I want this to be, I guess, a struct? And missing type constraint. Is that not how do you do Go generics? Go generics. Oh, it just wants us to declare what T is, or what T can be. So in this case, T can be any. And then we'll need to declare the other member fields. So this will be count, which is going to be an int. Do the same thing for the other two properties. This is going to be next, and this is going to be previous. And then we're going to have our results, which is going to be our T. Yep, results. That. Okay. And then I'm going to make a... I think then I'm going to make a strongly typed response object. It was somewhere in your Discord server. Someone posted something about Codeberg bans AI generated code. Oh, did they? I saw the Codeberg article, but I didn't realize anybody posted it in our Discord server. Yeah, I guess there's some concern that Codeberg has over the copyright, or basically the laws surrounding copyright and AI output, I guess, is the last I heard about it. I don't see it in there. But I miss stuff in there quite often. Especially when it gets going hot and heavy. But I mean Codeberg's, you know, Codeberg's its own entity, right? It's a non-profit, so it can do whatever it wants, you know, whatever works best for it. So they try to destroy. I don't think Codeberg's trying to destroy AI. That's not the read I get on it. My read on it is just they have a level. They see that hosting AI generated code presents a risk to their business in some way, shape, or form, and so they're making the decision not to manage that risk, just to remove it altogether. Or their way of managing the risk is to try to eliminate it, I guess. Which is totally their right. They're allowed to do that, right? That's their prerogative. If I want to start my own code hosting platform, then it'll be my prerogative, right, to do it how I want to do it. But I personally don't read it as destroying AI. Okay, where? Apps.go. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, so then we are going to do instead of this being locations, we are going to do page. And it's going to be a page of location type, like that. And then this will return page dot. Oh, I guess we do need page because we got to get the next and the previous into the context. So we'll just say page location, like that. And so we have our base URL, we have our offset. Let's also define on our client well, I guess we don't need to define that on the client. Let's just set it in here. So we'll say const int limit equals 20. Oh, whoops. That. Can this infer? Can the constant infer? No, okay. So 20. So that just means we'll only ever grab 20 of them. And then let's go ahead and do our request setup. So our request setup needs to be creating a new request. Actually, I don't think we need to create a request here. I think we can just do client.get, right? So we'll do res error, and we'll do endpoint.client.http .get. That's kind of annoying. I don't like that. The ergonomics of that suck. If you can't break something down, break down the thing you're stuck on. If you can't figure that out, step back, move on, and come back to it later. Great advice, Kale. Great advice. I think the epiphanies always come when you just... the epiphanies always come whenever you just decide to relax, offload the frustration to your subconscious. And the breakthrough usually comes then. I don't like the ergonomics of this client that I built, so I'm looking at how. Okay, let's do this. Let's not expose the client directly. Let's not expose this. Let's expose this. Not do, but do client.do with JSON response. And then let's do rec error equals le dot. Well, that was weird. My keyboard just started spamming the period. New request, like that. And we'll say if error does not equal nil, return nil and error. And then if res, or if error does not equal nil, turn error, turn nil, error, like that. Then obviously we have to decode into our page, right? So we're gonna want to pass in here our rec and our page. So basically this method will just be a nice reusable method that takes care of the handling of JSON and deserializing that into the Go struct. So I don't have to do that in every single method again and again and again. I can just do it in one place, and life is much easier that way. So then at this point, the page is populated and we can return it. Now we just need to implement those methods. I find I will have an epiphany at 3 a.m. and be like, fuck, that's a bug. More like, for me, it's more like, fuck, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so let's define, this is going to take, this. I'm just doing a bunch of wishful programming right now. So this is method get. The next thing will be our, I guess, locations path, or yeah, locations path. And then we'll do something with our query params. And then this will be a body, but in this case it'll be nil. I think the query params I'll model with a map. So let's come up here to, so we'll say type or func has receiver type client. And this has a new request that takes in a method, which is going to be http dot why isn't that coming through? Oh, so it just needs to be a string. So we'll do string method. We'll do path, which is also a string. Query params. This is going to be a map of string to any. And then this will be our body, which would be any. Like that. Something like that. Morning, Mark. Nice to see you. Appreciate you holding it down for us over there on the Twitch and the YouTubes. Very kind of you. Okay, and then this is going to return either an HTTP request or an error. Or, but I guess both. So this will be our rec, which will be of type http.request or error. Missing, oh. Well, I don't need to name these. Bro, is it okay to fall for older women in 24 and fall for 35? What? You mean you're 24 and you're falling for a 35-year-old woman? I don't see why not. I mean, my wife is older, but she's not that much older, but I don't see why not. I mean, my father-in-law and his wife have about a 9-year age gap. I feel like age gaps as you get older mean less and less, you know? I mean, the difference between a 14-year-old and a 25-year-old, like that's a no-go, right? But difference between a 24-year-old and a 35-year-old. The way to find the needle in a haystack is to burn the haystack. Well, that's one approach, but then you're out a bunch of hay, right? All right, I gotta go to the bathroom.
As a fellow man, I approved. Go for it, man.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with it. No problem at all. Unless you're kind of worried about it, you know what I mean? Like if it bothers you, who am I? Oh shit. Man, I gotta write a better version of this thing. This PowerShell script version's not cutting it anymore. I need to make a little TUI for terminal BRB messages. I'll put some coffee on too while I head that way. Oh crap, I forgot to start the coffee camera. There we go. All right, I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourself. Also, low-key Abu, I missed you coming in. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Nah, bro, she is fire. Hey, man, all the more reason. The difference between me at 24 and me at 35 is going to be my hairline. Well, I'm 33 and I already start to notice changes in my hairline. So, my wife pointed out, she's like, "You're kind of thinning back here on top." I mean, it happens, man. To be so lucky to get old, right? To be so lucky. All right, BRB. BRB. You look 22? No, I'm 33. I'm 33 and getting older all the time. I have gray hair. I've got thinning hair. Yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'll be right back. My hairline's great because I'm young, but based on my family history, that ain't gonna last. I don't. It's kind of interesting. The male pattern baldness thing is kind of fascinating. It seems to skip a generation. So my dad's dad had male pattern baldness. My dad didn't really have it, but it's possible now that I might get it. It's just kind of interesting that the male physiology results in losing hair. If it skips a generation, I'll be safe. Well, hopefully it does. I mean, I don't know if there's any science to back that up. It just seems like that's the case. I have it from mom's dad. Recessive jumps a generation. Yeah, it seems like, I don't know if there's like scientific research or literature to back any of that up, but it seems like that's the case. I've already made my peace with it though. If I start to lose my hair, I'm just going straight up bald. So in 10 or 15 years, there might be a bald man making content on this YouTube channel. And it will be me. The lesson's going way better now because I relaxed for some minutes, then got back to making it. Also, is not cheating right to copy the text they want to have in the P element because it's a huge text. No, I would copy and paste it. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with copy and pasting. Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. As long as you understand what you're doing, you know? Just make a digital avatar of you from before you went bald. You mean I can become one of those, what do they call that? VTubers. The people that like Burnt Peanut. They put the like digital avatar thing over their body, overlay it. More like AI powered. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm totally fine with my appearance changing as I get older, you know? I think getting old is such a blessing, you know? You look at these people who is, 70, 80 years old and just think about how much life they've seen and experienced, and even a bigger blessing if you get to grow old and see your kids have kids and grow old with the same person, if you're lucky enough to stick with your wife for all those years. Such a blessing, So I'm happy to wear my baldness and my saggy skin and all my aches and pains with pride. I don't know, man. I like my looks, especially since I have nothing cognitive going on anymore. I'm sure you have plenty of cognitive going on. But looks are fleeting, man. Looks are fleeting, The body you have is it ain't gonna last. It ain't gonna last. I mean, you can definitely do things to keep it in shape and all those things. I'm not saying you can't stay healthy, but yeah, we're all gonna age, man. That's life is temporary, which is what makes that's what makes it precious and beautiful. Is that it is finite. My girlfriend broke up with me 2 days back. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. we had for 6 months, but now I got more time to focus on myself and my things. Well, I don't know how old you are, X1 Zul, but there's lots of fish in the sea, man. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry you're going through a breakup. But hopefully the closing of one door leads to the opening of another, you know? Dude, Steven, you're speaking to my soul right now. I say the same stuff. Good morning, good to see you. Yeah. I am my wife doesn't like to think about that stuff. She's not kind of one to really meditate or dwell on, you know, death and stuff like that. But for me, I find it very healthy. It gives me perspective. It helps me refocus. I've always liked that idea of memento mori from the Stoics, you know, this idea of like contemplating one's own death, right? And using that contemplation to help make the life you are living better. Yeah, I've always liked that idea. What did I do with Neovim? Did I destroy Neovim? There it is. It's back. I am 20. Okay, yeah. So you're good, man. I mean, I got lucky. The thing is, I got lucky when it came to relationships. I met my wife when I was 15, and before her, I'd had maybe 2 or 3 like semi-serious girlfriends, you know. So I got lucky. I found my partner early in life. You know, I know that not everyone's the same, so. But I believe that person's out there, you know, if that's what you want for your life. I'm gonna grab my coffee real quick. I couldn't get AI agents to make good UI using my own UI library, so now I'm cooked. I'm manually learning. I don't even know UI design. I can't tell the agents what to change. It's just, this sucks. So I do agree that AI design has a very particular, especially on websites, AI has a very particular look to it. Like here, I can pull up a website to kind of show what I'm saying, to show an example of what I'm saying. This is a new thing that Microsoft just released the other day. It's called the Agent Protocol. Who knows if it will be popular or not, but it's a newer thing that Microsoft just... But like, this website was most definitely vibed or agentically engineered. Like, you can just tell, like, the colors, the kind of glow around the button, the glow up here at the top, these hard borders and outlines, like all, or the card usage, right? Hard borders around the cards, right? This is like classic AI output, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's just very distinct, right? And so I think what you're saying, Vanberg, is like, that's not the aesthetic you want. You want a particular aesthetic to you. And that's a great reason to learn how to build front ends yourself. I'm not a UI designer either, but I do have a particular thing. I like very minimal, clean, simple color palettes. I'm not gonna say my design's good or the front ends that I make are good, but they're mine, you know. All right, coffee. I'll be right back. I just wish I knew what aesthetic I actually want, and that's half the pain, right? It's like, you got to figure out what is the language of design and what's the language of the aesthetics, and so that you can communicate those things, and that just takes exposure, just takes reps. Hold on, I'll be right back. My kid left their Hulk Smash. It's a Spider-Man version of a Hulk glove. Dude, if I had stuff like this when I was a kid, me and my brother would have just spent the whole day boxing. Good morning, Danny. Nice to see you. Architects make the worst builders. Well, yeah, because they're not constrained. They also make the best, right, designers, because they're not constrained by knowing about all the challenges of implementing every little detail. So it's a double-edged sword, right? If you ask a developer to design something, the box they're gonna work within is gonna be very different than if you ask a designer. J35, what's up, G? I've never had anyone call me a G before, but thank you. Nothing much, man. Just hanging out on YouTube's. We're working on a Pokedex CLI as part of the boot.dev course. You did not miss the coffee session. We just got done making coffee. Sup, G? Good to see you, Born to Shine. Thanks for being a member, man. I appreciate you. Good to see you. Dude, are you the only person streaming manual coding these days? I doubt I'm the only person. Janet A. Carr, she's a Twitch streamer and YouTube streamer. These are people that are much bigger than me. So I'm a little small, tiny streamer. But there's let's see, Janet A. Carr does that kind of stuff. Zed Shaw, which I know people have very mixed feelings about him, but he does it, and he's fun to watch. There is a game developer named Adam C. Giannis who still does a lot of manual coding. He uses AI too, which is, I mean, to me it's okay, but he does some manual coding still. I'm sure there's more that I just haven't been exposed to, you know. I'm definitely saying G from now on. Yeah, Janet's streams are cool. Yeah, she seems pretty... She might be a little bit more anti-AI maybe than maybe I kind of am. Because I wouldn't really consider myself anti-AI. I would just consider myself somebody who's not super interested in doing agentic development. I still very much get a lot of personal satisfaction from doing things myself. But using AI as sort of a helper. Researcher, pair programmer type of thing. But yeah, her streams are good. Bash Bunny, I forgot about Bash Bunny. If you haven't heard of Bash Bunny, I need to make a page with some of the streamers that I like. But Bash Bunny's great too. She does a lot of manual coding stuff. I think she has like dedicated streams where she's trying to learn stuff or build stuff, which is great. So if that's kind of what you're into, or that's what you're interested in, those people are good follows. Yeah, she comes off as more kind of hardline stance on AI, which I understand. I empathize with both sides of the coin. You know, that's the thing is, you know, if I was in Congress, I would be somebody that would be between party lines. You know, I'm just not very dogmatic. I don't believe in ideological stances that much. I think both things can be true at the same time in most cases. I think the world is far more gray than it is black and white. And so I tend to kind of try to see both sides of the issue. I want to start a YouTube channel with traditional coding, but I'm scared. Oh, dude, you need to do it. Do it, man. Next time you're at your desk and you're working on something, just turn the camera on, right? Just turn the camera on, turn screen share on, and do it. No reason to wait. Nothing to be scared of, right? I guess maybe I have a different... I don't know how old you are, Born to Shine, but at 33, I know for a fact, nobody cares, man. Nobody's looking at you. They're worried about their own life. So do what you want to do, man. Do what you want to do. Life is too short. If you want to do it for a little bit, do it. If you want to not do it, don't do it. Like, just jump in, man. Jump in. It's, here you go. Maybe I can give you some inspiration. Thank you. I'll turn 35 in September. You can do it, man. You're the same age as I am, man. Life's too short. We're getting old. We're halfway there. The average life expectancy of a male is like 67 or 72 or something like that. Man, we're halfway. You got go. You know? What is it you want to do? Do it. Yeah, I've got some good TikToks I like to listen to that give me good inspiration. If I can find them. I've got them bookmarked. The problem is some of them have music, and then I'm afraid to click on them to see which one it is. There you go. This one's pretty good. This one's a pretty good one. Where's the sound? There we go.
Who cares? Who cares? Let it go. And when you're young, that is so hard.
That's a pretty good one.
Because you really don't know who you are yet.
Let's see. There's another good one that I've got in here. Basically, my TikTok is just me bookmarking tons and tons of like inspirational. Here you go. This one's good. Right? Like, be that guy. Who gives a shit about vibe coding and being productive and efficiency? Like, do what you want, man. Enjoy the process. We all headed to the same place. We're all going to be buried 6 feet under the earth. Might as well have a good time while you're here. I get my kick out of joining streams while coding, but I wanted to try maybe after uni. Go for it, man. Do it. Do it. Yeah. Who cares, man? Just do it. Now I'm stuck going down a TikTok rabbit hole. And TikTok has good they have good like inspirational content on there. You got to kind of scroll into it, but it's there. Life is short and jobs pile up. When I watch streams, I'm on my phone, so I'm running about. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Life is short. Oh, this is probably one of my favorites. I think this is from The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I think this is... Now I'm just showing you all my favorite inspirational clips, but it's my stream, right? So this is one of my favorites. I'm definitely going to get copyrighted for playing some of this music.
Stop to be whoever you want to be. There's no time limit. Start whenever you want.
The movie's good too. I'm pretty sure it's from the Curious Case of Benjamin Button. But I could be totally wrong. Oh, dude, this guy? Isn't it work time, buddy? No, it's 7:14 a.m. So I've still got about an hour and a half or so. This is one of my favorite TikTok creators. Hey, dude, he makes the funniest, the best vibes, dude. The best vibes. Oh, where is it? Come on. Unmute it. Oh, the sound's not available. Are you kidding me? Dude, he makes the best, funniest videos ever. He just like is righteous, dude.
To be
How did I get to his content? Just absolutely rips, bro.
Dude, what is it about getting older that like soup kind of rips now, dude? Like, dude, just pulling out the cauldron and just bubbling and boiling away all day, dude. Soups are probably the closest we're ever gonna get to potions class, dude.
Dude, it's so good.
Dude, what is it about getting older that like a crispy morning?
Crispy morning, dude.
Fire, dude. Like you wake up and it's like 60 degrees. It's just crispy out, dude. And if you throw a crispy leaf under the foot too, dude.
Such good vibes, dude.
That's Banana Land, baby. I'm there all day. That's fucking dynamite, dude. Dude,
Okay. All right, that's enough. That's enough TikTok. I'll be showing you TikToks for the rest of the stream if I don't put it away. I don't think I've had less than a 16-hour day since the 28th of June. Damn, dude. You're putting in that work, bro. You're putting in that work. Yeah, not me. Not me. Okay. So let's try to implement this new request method. Yeah, right up here. So we've got what do we want here? So this thing is not properly indented. There we go. So first and foremost, we need to get the full URL that we want to make the request to. So we've been given the path and the query strings and the body, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to probably format it, sprint F. We'll do %s, and we'll separate that by %s. Oh shit, my keyboard did that thing again. And so the first part will be our path, right? And we're going to trim right. Did I not import that module? Oh no, that's the variable we want. Why doesn't that have a... Oh, strings dot trim right. Pass in the path. Then we are going to do strings. This should actually be our base URL. And then we're going to do this. This is just making sure that we don't ever run into an issue where the path ends in a / and the base URL ends in a /. So string trim right path. And then that looks good. So that's our full URL. And then we need our what do we need? I guess our request. At some point we have to call c.http Why? There we go. New request. Okay. And then new request takes our URL. And it takes our method. It takes a body. We should just pass that, right? Oh no, you need a reader. So I guess if body does not equal nil, we should do some stuff with that. So var, we want some sort of reader, IO reader. This is our body reader. I'll pass that in here, body reader. And if it's not nil, then we want to say JSON data air equals body JSON dot Marshall. Returns our bytes. We'll pass in our body. Should get back an error. Our JSON data. If error does not equal nil, then we will return nil, and we will return a formatted error that says failed to Marshall quest body. That. Otherwise, we'll take our JSON body and we'll do body reader equals bytes dot. Oh my goodness, why does my keyboard keep doing that? Pass in our JSON data. Yeah. So basically, if you give us a body, we'll do the work to turn it into a JSON body, and we'll pass it to our new request method. Otherwise, we'll return rec and error. I mean, I guess we can actually just if error does not equal nil, turn nil. Failed to create new request. That. We should also probably validate this, right? So let's do valid URL error. This would be, is it URL dot parse? Pass in this full URL. So if error does not equal nil, return nil. We'll say failed to parse request. That. And then instead of using the full URL, we'll use the valid URL. this. And then we also need to deal with the query params. So query params, I think the parse URL, if I remember right, I think, let's see. Yeah, so this is not going to work because this is some sort of object. This is some sort of URL object. Where are you? Parse URL, URL dot parse go. And I'm pretty sure there's like a query param thing that hangs off the URL type. Parse. It returns this guy, URL structure. So we have raw query. Raw query contains the encoded query values without the initial. Use url.query to decode the query. I thought this had like a valid thought this had some sort of query method or something on it. Yeah, this guy right here. It silently discards malformed value pairs. To check for errors, use parse query. So I think what we can do is we can actually say q query equals valid url.query. And then we can loop over for key value range query params. And we can say query.add key value. I think that this actually needs to be restricted to a string type. Yeah. That's good. I know this is a lot of upfront work to just make a single request, but this will pay dividends in the future because whenever we want to make other requests beyond just getting the locations, we'll have all these internals and these guts like worked out, and we won't have to do it again and again and again. So this should be to string or string. Yeah, string. See Victor, or not Victor. See Born to Shine. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Sleep good. Sorry about calling you the wrong name. Okay. I think... Oh, we forgot to start our damn timer. I keep forgetting to use my Pomodoro timer. I gotta add sounds to it. I have notifications, but I gotta add sounds to it because I just... The notifications by itself is not doing enough. Okay. Rack. Everyone's happy. I think everyone's happy. So just quick review. We build the full URL from our base.
Sound puffed.
You do have sound. Yours is good too. I need to add sound to it. I also need to make it make it use a config file so that you can persist your settings between runs. I think that would be a good functionality. But yeah, I need sounds. So we get the for URL, right? Base path and the path they passed in, or base URL and the path they passed in. We get the queries. We loop over that query. We add whatever things they shared with us. If that fails, Oh no, if we fail to parse the URL. So actually, we don't need to do this until we know the URL is valid. So put that down there. Then if they give us a body, we turn it into a JSON body. We'll just assume we're only going to deal with JSON responses or JSON requests at this point. Then we create the request. We see if that fails, and then we return. I think that's good. Now somebody's still unhappy here. What are you unhappy about? Locations path. Yes, I guess you are correct. We don't have that, but we should. So let's go ahead and add we'll just add it here. So we'll say path, and this will be a string. So then we can say le.path. And obviously, yes, query params. So the query params is basically always going to be the limit and the offset, right? So we will say query params equals a map of string to string. And it's going to have a, I guess, limit and then an offset. Now these guys, this one's going to come from what's passed in. There we go. And then the limit is also going to be the same thing. So we'll do stir I2A. Okay, why can't we return nil here? Cannot use nil as, okay, that's fine. We'll just return the page then. It's fine. It does beg the question, actually. Can we just get rid of... No, I think right here we should add... I mean, I guess it begs the question if this is the... If we're always doing that return... I think what we could do is we could just do this and then just always return page and error. And now we need to implement do with JSON response, which is basically just a wrapper around the stuff we've already been doing for the last couple of days. So that's our new request. So let's go ahead and add func as a receiver type of client, and then we'll paste that in there, and it is going to take an ini and it's going to take an HTTP request, and it will return any errors it encounters. So we do rec, this would be http.request. And this would be, I guess, your data. I don't know what to call this, data. And this would just be any. What up, broski? Oh, you're back, Victor. There were no tabs in stock at the store I ordered online. That sucks, man. Well, at least it'll be here in a little bit, you know? At least you still got what you wanted, even though you didn't get it right when you wanted it. But sorry they didn't have it at the store. Sorry they did not have it at the store. It is the worst. Okay, so we'll do response, error, equals c.http.do, and we'll pass in our request that's hopefully properly constructed. And then if there's an error, hold on, I just thought of something. This is actually not a good approach. Because this assumes that this is a safe operation to do regardless of what happens, and it's not necessarily. We don't want to try to make a response request unless we know creating the request succeeded. So we do actually need both those checks. Let's add that method back here. So if error does not equal nil, then we want to return error. And I'm just going to say failed to execute request. Well, maybe that doesn't really help anything. I'm just going to return the error for now. We can always come back and add better messages. So then the question is, did it succeed? If it didn't succeed, we're going to say that means the response status code is less than 200 or response status code is greater than or equal to 300. Right? So basically it needs to be 200 or from 200 to up to 299. Otherwise, we're saying something bad happened. I wonder how the Poke API handles failures. Let's read the docs. Let's read the docs. Got quite a few wrapper libraries, couple Go libraries, but that defeats all the fun of doing it yourself, right? It's utilities. I don't know what this is. What happens if it errors? This doesn't seem to cover that. Huh. Okay, well, I guess we can just try utility, you think? Utility. This looks like, okay, so this gives us languages endpoints. Common models. Let's see, API resource, description, effect, encounter. Flavor text. Named API resource. Huh. Let's just do a quick control find. Error. Man, you should always have an error handling section in your API documentation. Yeah, you should always have one. Okay, so we will just define our own, and we'll just say, let's just pass like the status code and yeah, 0 results for errors. Yeah, so lesson learned, always add error handling to your documentation. We'll just make our own. Hey, what's up, D? Yo, I want to get ripped. Should I do steroids? Totally depends on like your tolerance for risk versus reward. I think for the average person, if you were a personal training client of mine, I would ask you basically, do you want to compete in professional bodybuilding or even amateur bodybuilding? Like non-natural, like you don't want to compete in natural bodybuilding. but you want to compete in bodybuilding, then I would say yes, you probably need to look into that. Or if you want to compete in strongman or powerlifting in geared categories, then yeah, you're gonna have a hard time being successful. But if that was the case, I'd also say you need to talk to a doctor. You need to do it under supervision, right? And you also need to be aware of all the risks and the side effects of it. I think for the average person, it's not worth it. I think for the average person, you should probably just try to eat the best you can, lift weights, take care of yourself. I finally completed the build a travel agency page. Well, congratulations, dude. Let's clap it up for you. Let's clap it up. Okay, that's a bad one. That doesn't sound like the clapping I wanted. There we go. Good job. Crushing it over there. So it's already 7:40. I started kind of late today. I'll probably go a little later today because I started late. So let's just go ahead and define our own. Let's define it as C. Oops. C.handle API error. And we will pass in, I think we just need the response, I guess.
Did we just become best friends?
Hey, thanks for the sub, Redek79. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. So let's add a function called, yes, W and D. W and D. W in chats for X1 Zool. You rock, dude. Handle API error. And we'll take the rest. Response like that. And then we'll just return stuff. Just needs to return an error. And let's make our own struct. Let's make a Poke API error. Like that. And I think all we have to do is we just have to implement implement this. Right? Returns a string, right? Okay. And then we'll say, I really don't think we need anything other than the status code for right now, right? Because we don't really know if they return anything other than that. So we can just do Poke API error status code equals resp.status code. Now, if we come to find out there's like a message or well, I guess we could do, this has, let's see, body. What does this have on it? Read, this has a read method. I guess we could just read the body as a string. In case there is anything there. Yeah. I think that wouldn't be terrible. So we'll do res body dot close. And how do we read the body as a string? Go. Read body as string. We can use io read body or io.read all, and then just convert the bytes to a string. Okay. So we'll do body bytes air, which equals io.read all, pass in rest.body. That, and then if air does not equal nil, I think what I'll do is I'll just have body text string, and then I'll just define body text here. It's a string. So it'll be an empty string by default, but if we are able to read the bytes from it, we will say body text equals string body bytes. Like this. And that should get us close, I think. There's something, I think there's something we have to do special though when we're closing. I don't think you can just call defer close like that, can you? Because what is close hand back? Close hands something back, doesn't it? Yeah, hands back in air. I wonder if that will cause... I mean, right now I'm not getting any warnings, so it must be okay. But I thought you had to do something like this. I thought you had to do, like, function... I thought you had to do something like this. But I could be totally wrong. Why am I thinking that's a thing? Go defer wrap in anonymous iffy immediately invoked function expression. This might be a Gemini question. In Go, for some reason, I don't think you can just, or I guess you can, I don't think you should just do defer rec.body.close. I think it needs to be wrapped in an iffy. Is that true? Or is there a best practice in the Go community around this? I think there's something like that. Request versus response body. You need to log or handle the error. Oh, okay. Okay. So I only need to do that if I intend to actually deal with whatever the thing I deferred returns. I don't think at this point I really care. So I think that's fine. So we can go back to the simpler approach. Yeah, I think that'll work for just simple error handling. Makes it ubiquitous. Now we have a strong type we can... Whoops, sorry, I just punched the mic. I did not mean to do that. Sorry if that hurt your ears. A C handle API error undefined. Client... Oh, it's because I called it this. Now what we need to do is we need to actually get the response. So what we should do is we should again do defer response dot... Dude, why did... Like, I've got no fingers on my keyboard. And it's just like running wild with periods. I don't understand. Is it time for a new mechanical keyboard? Is that what I'm learning? Honey, I need to buy another keyboard. Let's see. We need to do defer res.body.close. And then we'll just return JSON dot expense it with work. Yeah. 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 That's a good idea. I would love to, you know what I'd really love to expense at work is I'd really love to expense a chair, but the chair I want's very expensive, so I don't think that would I think it would get flagged. I probably should add, that's one of those times where you should probably ask permission first. Hey, what's up, Trash Panda? Kinesis Advantage 360.
Become best friends?
Hey, thanks for the follow, Zace. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I've heard great things about Kinesis. I've actually been looking at an ortholinear split keyboard, which I know is not really like the same thing as what you're talking about, Trash Panda, but that's the keyboard the next keyboard I've been looking at getting. I hear so many programmers who have been doing this longer than me talk about like taking care of their fingers and their hands and their wrists and stuff. And this is something I plan to do for a very long time. So I'm trying to, before I actually have issues, I'm trying to take the wisdom of the crowds and look into things that are more ergonomic. Although I love my mechanical keyboards. So it's kind of a, I don't know. It's like a catch-22. I know it's probably better for me, but man, I do love my keyboards. I really would hate to have to give those up. If you have a documented back problem, you can ask for a reasonable accommodation for your back and get a bigger budget for a desk chair. Your HR department should have more info. Justin, you rock. I've been thinking of like, how do I soft launch this idea of a keyboard? How do I soft launch this idea of expensing a chair? That's actually a great idea. Although I'm not sure I have documented back problems. I did see a doctor when I lived in Joplin one time. When I hurt my back. I hurt my back deadlifting one time. But I wonder. My next won't be a split, I think. Gosh, the thing is, okay, the thing with splits is just they're so damn expensive, man. They're so expensive. I also bought one of the Delta Hub wrist rests for my mouse, and it works fairly well. I've used like 10 different keyboards at this point. Kinesis is expensive, but I won't ever go back at this point. Well, the expense thing I just need to get over. My wife has encouraged me to buy a new chair, and I know she would encourage me if I said that I needed a more ergonomic keyboard. And my coworkers at work, particularly one individual, he's probably 10 years older than me. But the thing that he's always said to me is like, look, you spend 40 hours a week using this stuff, right? This is like your job. You need to probably invest in tools that take care of you if you're going to continue to do this for a long time. And I just need to swallow that pill and get over the cost and expense. I hurt my back deadlifting too, led to need a PT, so it was a straight shot for me. I got a huge budget, thankfully, have really good chair now. I'm tall and heavyish, always sit over 210. That's awesome. Yeah, or it's not awesome that you hurt your back, but it's awesome they helped you get a chair. I feel like anybody who's ever spent a lot of time deadlifting, at some point, you inevitably, even with perfect form, if you're pushing the weight, you're inevitably gonna possibly tweak your back, you know? It's a risk versus reward. I already have some RSI in my elbow. I recently got a Herman Miller chair. Best money I've spent in my life, hands down. That's what everyone keeps telling me, Larzanya. I think what I might do is I might save up my YouTube AdSense money. Maybe I only make like $100 from AdSense in a month. Or it's like $50 to $100. So what I might do is I might save up my AdSense money over a couple months and use that to buy a chair. And then that way it won't feel like I'm stealing from the family coffers. You need to specifically say reasonable accommodation, though. You got to use the magic passphrase, the magic legalese, because it's a special budget companies need to have. Ooh, okay. Well, now I have the magical words. I love that. Unpatched DLC. I kind of like standing up while I stream. This is actually kind of nice. I might do this more often. Okay, what's up next? Same boat for me, even more lifting and getting a sit-stand desk and good chair, turned it around, snap, tendon deadlifting years ago. Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody who has, been seriously into lifting and does regular deadlifting who hasn't at some point encounter. I actually wrote about my experience back when it happened. I was probably like 20, maybe 20, 21. I bet it's on my old blog. It was probably like journal, WordPress. I've got to migrate all this. I need to migrate all this to my... Yeah, I bet it's here somewhere. Does this have a search functionality? Oh, my break time is over. I guess not. I'm in the middle of doing something. Shut up, timer. Man, I wrote so much back in the day, and now I write way too little. But I remember writing about it because it was actually a pretty scary experience when it happened. Like, I was in so much pain every day, and I thought, like, oh my God, this is the end of me. I'm surprised this doesn't have a way to search. There's got to be a better way to do this. Oh, you know what? I bet I can just search in my... I bet if I can find the login for it, I can get in there. Dude, use that. Might have a historical diagnosis, but the fact that it's a documented historical issue should be more than enough. Yeah, I wonder... I wrote about it. So maybe I can dig that up. My company offers Ergo peripherals, but they were bunk, so I just leveraged their internal rewards point system into debit gift cards. I got into a long debate with my direct manager saying if I'm expected to complete yearly mandated ergonomic training, then the company should be better about supporting their workers, remote or otherwise. Didn't get very far. Yeah, it's you know, I think it depends on where you work, right? What the attitude is towards that kind of stuff. I feel like my company's always been extremely generous with what they've offered in terms of like perks and equipment and ability to expense things. It's more of just me being afraid to ask, you know, and not wanting to be that squeaky wheel employee, you know. But I should if what I should do is I should just save the money, buy the chair, and then if I get it expensed, wonderful. If I don't, it's no big deal. You know what I mean? That's probably what I should do. The medicine ball is kind of interesting. That's what I always see the Primogen using on stream. I don't really think he does it for ergonomic reasons. It seems like he just likes to bounce on it. It's like a stim. It's a way for him to stim and still remain focused. But yeah, a nice chair would be great. I avoided heavy weights for many years as I was just terrified of it happening. And I understand that, lasagna. I also think that as you get older, it's just risk versus reward, right? If you're pushing heavy weights, there is a likelihood you could injure yourself, right? And so it just comes down to like, what's more important to you? Is it more important to wake up every day and feel good and not really have to worry about injury, or do you have a goal that you're pushing for? And in some ways you kind of have to put it on the line. I know a lot of people will say, well, you know, that just means you weren't using good form or blah blah. And it's, when people say stuff like that, I just kind of shake my head, because it shows that that person probably hasn't really gone for it in their training in a meaningful way. Like, no matter how good your form is, if you're practicing progressive overload, by definition, it means you're trying to do more than you're kind of capable of at any given time. And so there is a risk to it. There's no way to do risk-free heavy deadlifting. Overall, my company is great. They offer great perks and benefits. They bought me a chair. Just seems to be an oversight. Yeah, I think sometimes companies just aren't as sensitive to certain things, for sure. See, Justin, thanks for hanging out, man. Have a good day. I was ego lifting for sure, young and dumb. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Okay. Back to the code. All right, where were we? We're basically at the point, I think, where we can actually make our request. Oh, you know what? There's a little hiccup here. So these next and previous, they are not ints, they are strings. Where are we? They are strings. That's the wrong one. That's not the right one. I got too many windows open. This one? No, that's not it. Yeah, this one. Okay. So these are not strings. So if we look at locations, response, or these are not ints, these are strings. So we have a couple ways to deal with this. We can either, I guess, parse it ourselves. Yeah, I don't really want to pass the URLs around. That's why. This is a contentious decision here. I don't really want to pass the URLs around. So I think what we'll have to do is we'll need to go ahead and change this to a string. That way it can deserialize properly. And then I think what I'll do is I'll add a method that retrieves the offset. So we'll do a receiver type of page. And we'll say get next offset. That returns an int. Turn 0. We move to mono repo at work and tasked with aligning all the various testing and mocking libraries. Tech lead wants to use TUnit. I think it's new, but I don't know any thoughts. So I personally like XUnit. I actually just did this at work probably 6 months ago or a year ago. I took a very legacy old suite of unit tests that were using MS tests, and I migrated it to XUnit. The only reason I picked XUnit was mainly because we have a mixture of projects across core and framework, and TUnit seems particularly new. And obviously something like XUnit is kind of rock steady and well tested and battle tested. I think it's also the ergonomics of it I like. I mean, TUnit's great. I'm not trying to say TUnit is a bad choice. I think TUnit is a perfectly fine choice. I just went with something that's been around for a long time and has a lot of good documentation, community support for, you know, a production project with multiple devs. It seemed like a better choice. And also XUnit does have support. If you use XUnit v3, it does have support for the new testing platform if you want to be on the latest and greatest Microsoft testing stuff. What else? The mocks. Also a favorite in substitute over mock due to the third-party bullshit they had. Yeah, so I still use mock myself. I know there was some drama there like a year and a half ago, I think it was. I forget exactly what they did. They introduced something into the library code that did something that wasn't, I can't exactly remember, but I remember the drama. I personally didn't take great offense to it myself, so I've continued to use it. I think mock ended up removing that problematic stuff. We already had mock as a part of that legacy test suite, so I just kept using it. I didn't change it, but InUnit's great too. Scanning for GitHub developer emails. There you go. So I didn't take great offense to it, but I know other people did. So I still use mock in my personal projects and use it at work. But InSubstitute's great. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with InSubstitute. My favorite mocking library in the .NET space that I don't hear people talk a lot about is mock HTTP. I think is the name of it. It's by Richard Zesley. I love that library. It makes doing testing when you're dealing with external API calls, whether they be to services you control or services you don't control. It makes it so much easier to test stuff. This one. I have never used Fake It Easy. I have not used that one, but this is my favorite. This is my favorite HTTP client testing library. It's basically like in Go, how you can spin up a mock test server type of situation. It basically gives you that same similar ergonomic feels to it, but I absolutely love it. It's great. Obviously, though, it's not a complete mocking library. It's just for dealing with HTTP client mocks. So you'd use it alongside something like mock or in substitute. Yeah, you might find it very useful and handy. I've never used Fake It Easy though, so that might be another good option. I feel like if you depending on what your architecture is like, if you guys use a lot of dependency injection, either in substitute and mock HTTP should take care of like the vast majority of cases. However, if you're in a code base with developers who love their static methods, then things might get a little hairy. But if you're using DI and interfaces, you're programming against interfaces using a lot of dependency injection, I feel like in substitute mock will get you most of the way there. All right, so we've got get next offset. We're also going to use get previous offset. And then these can actually call another method that is just internal. That's called get offset. So the only difference here is we'll call p.getOffset with p.next. And this will be p.getOffset with p.previous. This actually could just be, I guess, a private method, huh? Or a private function. We don't even really need, it doesn't really even need to live on the page. Let's see. Oh, there's interfaces for configuration. There's some. Oh shit! I just pulled my headphones out. I move around more when I'm standing up. Let's see. There's interfaces for configuration. There's DI for things that just shouldn't be, things we own. It's a bit of a mess. Well, I personally would rather have way too much DI and interface than not enough. Claude makes the call because I do not ball. There. Yeah, I just Bradley, I'm much more on the side of I'm much more on the side of like give me all the interfaces, give me all the dependency injection. Oh, this should not be typed. This should be func. And then this is going to be give me a string, right? String. Cannot use generic type without instantiation. Interesting. Like that? That work? There we go. No ball is a Zoomer slang. I don't know if you know it. Knowing ball is like knowing what's up. No, yeah, I know what knowing ball is, but I don't know if I necessarily think that deferring to AI in the cases where you don't really know what you're doing is necessarily the best path forward. I think it makes sense in low risk environments, but if it's a meaningful decision, you might want to do some verification. You know what I mean? Okay. And then if error does not equal nil, we'll just return 0. Then we'll do return valid.query.get. Gets the first value associated with the given key. Okay. So let's do v equals valid.query.get. And we are specifically looking for offset. I'm going to assume this is not case sensitive, but I honestly don't know. Then we are going to do return IOTA B. Cannot use as int value in return statement. I think I want to do the opposite way. I want to convert an int. I want to convert a string to an int. So that's parse int. I think there's one that wraps parse int though. And I feel like it has a similar name to this. Yeah, this guy. So V. So this is string offset. And then this will be offset. And this will be error. I actually used Cursor with Opus 4.8 today to create an MVP for a .NET Trace web app and Analyzer UI packaged as a NuGet. Nice. It's pretty neat. Can wire into any Aspire cluster and trace whatever apps. Very cool. Yeah, I love me some Aspire. That sounds cool. Displays all port allocations and hotspots like dictionary resize to list, etc. That's very cool, man. I could see that being very helpful. Sounds like a great use of Cursor. Because that's one of those tools, right? That's probably nice to have, but it would probably take you longer than you want to invest to build it yourself. But if you can throw a little AI speed on it, makes it much more realistic. We'll say if error is not equal nil, again, we'll just return 0. So the whole point of these methods is just so that I don't have to deal with URLs. I can just get the offsets and pass those. Okay, I think that's what we needed. Now let's see if we can actually implement a call to the API. We need to add to our client struct. We need to add a locations And this will be a pointer to a locations endpoint object. And then in here, we will say, what are we going to say? Actually, we need to change this a little bit. So we need to say C equals this. Let's yank that up here, put that there. C equals this. And we will return C, right? But before we do that, we have to actually, we have to create a locations endpoint. We have to wrap it with C. I think it used like 40 USD. Ah, you had to spend $40 to do it. Well, as long as it was the company's money. Was it your money or was the company's money? If it's your money, then maybe that wasn't the best, but I don't know. I guess it depends on how helpful it is to you. You know? Got too many windows open. Too many windows open. Yeah, if it's company money, hey. And if it, I mean, $40 to them is like a, you know, it's like a few pennies to us probably. We get like 750 USD for Claude, 750 for Cursor, and then 1,000 for Copilot per month. That's awesome, man. That's very generous. That's super generous. Yeah. And I'm guessing they do that because they want to incentivize you to use those tools. Okay, where's the map? Man. Yeah, we don't do anything like that where I work. I've been, I think, relatively lucky to type context has no feel. I feel like I've been relatively lucky to escape some of that. Client. So we got client.locations.get. We pass in c.next offset, which is going to be 0 to start with. We will hopefully get a successful response, right? So this is actually going to not be locations. This is just going to be a page. This gives us back a page. We basically spent all day today just writing the internals of our Poke API client instead of doing the actual work of doing the command. Let's see, results. And then after if we did actually get a response, we want to update. So this is where we need to say c.next offset equals page.getNext offset, like that. And then c.previous offset equals page.getPrevious offset. I think that looks right. So now we should try it. I registered it and everything. So let's see if our client works. Oh, you mean in tokens, not cash? But still, I mean, any amount is generous of a company to provide. I think that's awesome. Okay, map. Damn. Okay, it doesn't work.
I need to learn to charge my phone.
Get it together, Kale. Get it together. Yeah, it's funny. I'm lucky. Because I work from home, I very rarely have to worry about being out of a charge. You know what I mean? So if I ever have to go back to working in an office, it's gonna be a sad day. And I'll probably end up forgetting to charge my phone quite a bit. All right, I'm a little confused. Oh, very cool. Wireless charging mouse pad. That sounds baller. So literally you just have to put your phone on your desk. Never charged at home, always fixing home lab. I need to get one of those. Wireless mouse pad. That sounds cool. That sounds right up my alley. So is this ever actually executing? Let's do print line flow. Okay, so it does execute. So it's just interesting that it's not. I guess it could be actually just not returning any results, right? Yeah, it's just not returning any results. So the question is, what does the URL look like when we make the request? So let's go back to our client.go. Do with JSON. So let's see what it looks like. Let's do format.println. Let's print the rec and let's print the URL. I'll just see. Maybe we've got a bug in how we're constructing it. Well, that's a problem right there. There's no... I think the problem is because I forgot to add the path, didn't I? So I have the base URL here, but on the locations... Locations endpoint. Yeah, see, I forgot to add it. So whenever we new up the locations endpoint, we need to provide that. Where do we new that up? New client? Yeah, right here. So this should be path. And what is the path? The path is location area. Like that. Hey, looky there. Although they're all in the same line because I always forget to print the new line. Locations. We did it. You know you're fucked when you get to a job and you have a Lenovo ThinkPad. You don't like ThinkPads? Really? I would think you would like ThinkPads. I like the X1 Carbon. I've always wanted one of those. You seen those? X1 Carbon. It's good, but they're also a hard mock for getting fucked. That's hilarious. Johnny, double slash and path. Do I have a double slash? Ooh, I do. Good catch. Also, I need to remove that print. So why am I getting a double slash? Good catch, Johnny. You're the man. I thought I was taking care of that when I was building the URL. It's a meme. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand. I totally get the. I mean, ThinkPad. There's nothing more corporate than a ThinkPad laptop. But I do wish I could own a. I do wish I could own a X1 Carbon. I really have liked those. All right, so why isn't this working? Trim right. Oh, this should be trim left. This should be trim left. That's why. Good catch. This is why you're supposed to write unit tests. There we go. Now it's properly formatted. Now let's go to the wherever we're printing that. Where are we printing that? I think we're printing that in the do with. Yeah, print it down here. Just remove that. We should also add a message so that I think we're supposed to add if locations, if length of page.results equals 0, we're also supposed to print something. We're supposed to print like there are no responses or something for this page. If on the first page of results, this command should just print you're on the first. Oh no, that's for map back. Sorry. I do think we should print something though, shouldn't we? I feel like we should just say like no locations found. We should print something. And this is okay to do like this because obviously this code is not going to run, right? So if the length equals 0, we're not going to do any iterations. So that's fine to do for now. How's the stand-up desk is fine. Yeah, I don't use it very much in stand-up mode. I used it yesterday to make a video, and I actually liked that. Making the video standing up actually was much better than sitting down. The streaming while standing up is kind of interesting. It definitely, I think, makes me a little bit more focused on getting stuff done. So I probably will work it in more. I'll probably sit, stand, do a little bit of both. Hey, X1, good to see you again. Thanks for stopping back by. If you get a desktop, they care about what you output. If you get a server, you better see an output. I got an M3 for work, about to upgrade to M5 Pro. Dude, that's baller. Yeah, the Mac is, I love Mac. I mean, I still would consider myself a Mac fanboy. I can't afford it anymore. It's out of my price range. But maybe one day I'll get back to it, you know. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to add the back command, and then we will wrap up. So map back command equals CLI command, and we'll do name is map B. Description displays the names of the previous 20 location areas of the next, like that. Callback, call this command map back. And actually, I think what we can do is we can actually wrap this in a method, right? Because the only difference between the command map and command back is so let's do function command map back. C takes a pointer to a context, returns an error. Do a little ZZ action. So the only difference here is we should first check to see if, so if we basically need to see, are we at the first page? And we're only going to be at the first page if the previous offset and the next offset are identical. So if C dot next offset equals 0 and C dot previous offset equals 0, then we're at the beginning. In which case, then we're supposed to print, you're on the first page. You are on the first page. And then it should just return nil. Otherwise, we can basically call the same logic. So let's extract this to a function called map. Let's actually call it get maps. Get maps. And we're going to pull all that logic out. And so the offset's the only difference, right? So let's just pass in offset like that. It's just going to be an int. It means we can change. I think this is right. I think this will work. Famous last words. And these errors are still applicable, right? So then down here, we can just call get maps and give it the get maps. Give it the pass through the context. And then up here, we can say return get maps and pass through context. And in this case, it's the previous. So now what we should do is we should be able to map forward and map back. So we should be able to say go run declared not used. What do you mean? Command back is not used? Oh, because we don't register it. So we need to register it. We might want to fix that. We might want to make the commands defined in an array and then just loop and call register on every single thing in the commands array. That actually would probably save us from making that mistake more than once. So let's map forward. Okay, so keep in mind those 20. So it's the same. Okay, well, does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. I think map B in that case is supposed to print you're on the first page. Let's try to do map twice. Oh, we'll do map twice. Map. So those should be different, but they're not. Which makes me think this is not actually getting updated correctly. Yeah, this isn't getting updated correctly. So format.println c.previous offset. C.next offset. It should be advancing by 20 every time. I don't think it's advancing at all. So map, that's 020. So yeah, see, it's just stuck. So why is it stuck? Is it because I also need the limit to move to? No, the limit should always be 20, right? Okay, let's go to the next one. Steven, what is a good YouTube video to watch that talk about everything about HTML when you just don't code and just want to relax? Web Dev Simplified has some really good content on just web development in general. So his content would be good to watch. Web Dev Cody has some good stuff on Web Dev. You got to kind of scroll a little bit. A lot of his content most recently has been a little bit more either AI related or architectural systems, architectural stuff. But he has some good content. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else on YouTube. Brad, what's his name? I forget the name of his channel. Brad Traversy. It's kind of like OG tech web dev YouTube tutorial guy. I want to say Brad Traversy or something like that. This old MacBook Air is giving me the shits. Well, my MacBook Air just died the other day, so MacBook Air seem to be a problem lately. That's so bad. Let me see if I can find Brad Traversy. Yeah, Traversy Media. That's the name of it. If you look up Traversy Media on YouTube, he's got a lot of good web dev content too. But those guys would be good to consume if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Could you not fix it? Oh, so basically the way this all ended, which I guess probably I should go to work now. It's 8:42. The way the MacBook Air saga ended was I was able to boot it up. I basically tethered my phone to it so I could get it connected to a network connection. Then I installed that status. What is it called? Status CTL. And it basically reported that the hard drive had failed. And so my thought process, the whole process on it was, could I fix this? Probably, but would I ever want to use it to host anything I care about? Again, like, would I trust it? You know? And I said, nah, I probably wouldn't. So I retired it. It served me well. I got that thing when I was 20 years old, I think. I think I was 20 or 21. So it served me well for the last 14 years or whatever. But it's time to hang it up. Yeah. So I've been looking at, I'll probably get another server at some point. I kind of like these mini PCs for home labbing. I think the mini PCs are fun. They don't take up that much space and have pretty low power draw. And for all the stuff I like to do in my home lab, they're more than enough. This MacBook Air, I'm just gonna nuke and put Ubuntu on it, I guess. That's what I did with mine. That's where I ended up with mine. I ended up with Ubuntu server running on it. Optiplex G5. I don't think I've heard of that. The small ones. Optiplex G5. I think I have an Optiplex upstairs. That's what, but I don't know. I don't think it's a G5. It's one of the ones you commonly find on Facebook Marketplace that people used to have as workstations. You can get like pallets of them now. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. G5s. Yeah, I've seen those before on Amazon when I looked at mini PCs. Yeah, I just like the small form factor. They don't take up a lot of space, and seems like you can get them loaded up with quite a bit of RAM. I think the next home labbing PC I get, I'd like it to be a what's that solution for virtualization that you use, Kale? Proxmox. Yeah, I'd like to get a host that runs Proxmox. That would be my next. Yeah, Proxmox. That's what my friend, that's what he does in his home lab. Yeah, I would like to do that. I think it'd be fun. All right, guys. Well, I'm out of here. Kale, I hope you had a wonderful start to your week. Sounds like you got the BitLocker thing and the Wise PC crashing, so that kind of sucked. But I hope other than that, it was a decent day. And I just hope it's nothing but better from here on out. I got to run to work now, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'll be back tomorrow. We didn't complete any lessons on boot.dev today, but hopefully all that work we did on the Poke API client internals will make it easier to make more progress faster as we have to add functionality. Figure out why offset never advances.
Have a good Monday from my almost Tuesday.
It's weird, dude. Time travel's weird, man. Time zones are crazy. You too, Kale. See you, X1. Thanks for hanging out, man. Good luck with all your free CodeCamp stuff. I hope you're having fun. I mean, I know in this age of AI, people are probably making you feel like you're wasting your time and you're falling behind or whatever, but I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you feel like you're learning. I always will shill for free CodeCamp till the day they either go out of business or I no longer am on the earth. So I hope you're enjoying their content. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. See you guys.